Welcome back to Cutting Edge Consciousness, thought-provoking discussions and bold ideas from the edge of possibility.
And we're back on Cutting Edge Consciousness. This is Barnett, and I'm here with Freeman.
God, that was great. You know, this whole thing, it's so interesting because the slowing down of our thought process, or my thought process, to be able to take in more, it's like we're consciously inhibiting the tendency to run ahead with our thoughts and regrounding in sort of fundamental stuff. I mean, it doesn't feel... Again, you know, going to being with the indigenous people and seeing the simplicity of how they live their lives and their attunement, if you will, to a higher frequency. I mean, even this language doesn't suffice, but just the whole way that they're tuned in and tapped in, and how it takes a firestorm, you know, for us to kind of tune in and tap in. And yet, you know, a retreat with Jed Amali.
It's sketchy. It's a sketchy area. We want to romanticize and nobilize other traditions. We want to romanticize and nobilize the East. We want to romanticize and nobilize the traditional cultures. Everything in its place. My center of consciousness is here, right here.
Yeah.
It's not there.
I agree with you. I agree with you completely, but yeah, go ahead.
It's not about better or worse.
No.
But it is about personal exploration of consciousness, and this is where it's happening. This is where it's happening for me. This is where my consciousness is expressed, and it is not helpful to me to measure any part of myself against any other part.
I'm with you.
Against
I'm
any
with you
other part of
100%.
myself, because I am those cultures.
Yeah. No, and I totally agree.
Not as an intellectual thought.
No.
I am those cultures.
Yeah.
And I have much to learn from those cultures, as those cultures have much to learn from us.
Totally. Totally agree. No, listen, I'm not romanticizing, and I know there's a big tendency to do that. What I'm offering is the opportunity to get outside of our own frame of reference, or get more attuned to a part of our experience that's maybe dormant, that another culture is more tapped into, and all we do is we get
I don't know
a broader...
That may or may not be true, but what is true is that at any moment we can drop into our bodies and feel the chi in it, and the mood, any moment. I don't have to go to a cave and meditate someplace. I don't have to go to a monastery and do that, nor do I have to go to an indigenous culture, except...
But you can, and it's not to nobilize it. Listen, it's not to nobilize it.
Absolutely, you can.
You can. I mean, listen, you go to a Jed Amali retreat because you want to tap into something that she's very tapped into, that provides an opportunity to expand, right?
Yes.
That's it.
So it is a matter, I think, of balance. It is a matter of being very careful that we don't... we talked about the growing awareness of our slumbering greatness.
Right.
When we diminish ourselves, we are not tapping into what is beautiful and great about ourselves.
Yeah.
Because there is only one thing going on. There is always only one thing. And if we have an experience of being in the world, being more fully present, which involves not shutting down my mental faculty, but adding on to it, and experiencing more of myself, beginning first with my body and with my world. So there's a firestorm going on. That is, in a real sense, more of the matter of the... I'm not... Let's get a little esoteric here. I am not in this body. My body is in me. I am not in this world. The world is in me. We're flipping our orientation more and more to take to be able to more fully respond to this illusion of being separate.
Yeah, and I'm so with you, and I'm grateful that you tied it back to that because, again, what I was starting with, look, this is part of my experience because now I'm really owning it, where I like the sound bites. I like the storyline, and the storyline is we must awaken, and there's this, there's this collective need to be different.
Anxious.
Yeah, it's not helpful either because so now I'll really cut open and just reveal. So for me, how much does it organize around I get to be right, I get to be special, I get to be better? That is not something I love to reveal. But in some way,
That's so true. And the flip side of that is we're defective and flawed, and these other cultures have got it dialed in.
That's the same thing.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. I agree completely. So again, there's a up-leveling of my own life that comes when I own the reflection and I'm tracking in a self-conscious way, not self-conscious how it's normally used, but in a sense of my own experience, my own awareness, and there's a deepening. Part of what we try to do here, or we are committed to doing, is go to our edge, like the propensity to track back to a conversation we've already had and or something that was cool yesterday doesn't get us to the edge. It's just a comfort zone gig. And the same is true with these big drawings, drawing these big conclusions that are so enticing. There's and we can get a lot of people to collude with us on the story of how we as a culture are asleep and we need to awaken and da-da-da-da. And at some point, that's not the edge anymore. That's a boring old story. You really want to tell that? So when I'm talking about indigenous people and the Pachamama Alliance, which is doing such great work, it's not, I hope, to nobilize it and make me part of this special club that knows about higher consciousness. It's to recognize what can be reflected when I step outside of the comfort zone I've created for myself and view from a perspective that is expansive for me. That's all.
That's beautiful and so beautifully said. So beautifully said. Lynn Twist, who is the founder and runs the Pachamama Alliance, is one of the more passionate and beautiful people on the planet that I know. And the gift of knowing her is that I have an exposure to what it looks like to be fully committed, fully giving on a big adventure of service without any oh my God, it's all calamitous. She's just doing it the way I have a friend who's been visiting for a couple of days who's an incredible classical guitar player. So he's just playing that guitar for the joy of it. And
you know what popped in my head? The conversation about the barista guy.
Yes.
Mitch.
You want to review the barista guy?
Sure. Just that we were talking on a previous show. Now, this is going back a long way.
Stuart Emery.
Yeah, and how you had brought him to a coffee house in Malibu, and the man who runs the coffee house Mitch is passionate about coffee and the machine and the beans and where they come from, and it's very sensory, and he's very into it. And just that way that he's so passionate and inspired and connected to what he's doing is enough.
Because we can do these things out of a passion and a service and a contribution where I share my gifts with others, or I can dilute the power of that by the degree to which, in addition to it, I have layers of war and struggle attached to it. So he's not giving, he can give his gifts and support sustainable coffee plantations. That's one thing. But if you're giving those gifts and you're at war with, you got a real, you're vilifying people and you're making one side wrong and terrible, and it robs people of the joy of their gift, and it shifts the frequency of the gift.
And it's not required. I mean, really, folks, and I'll say this from my own life.
Get, though. I'm still
Yeah.
I'm still deeply, well, maybe I'm not deeply into it. I don't know where I am in
Yeah,
it.
it's a great
You
point.
can't see your velocity and your direction simultaneously, I think is the
Yeah, that's
law of
fantastic.
uncertainty or something.
Yeah.
But I do know that I am still exploring. I'm still finding my way out of the weeds on that one.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's interesting too because one of the things I'm really aware of is how I've ordered and organized something that's special or brilliant. You know, I've got a hierarchy in my conditioning where certain kinds of gifts are more special or more important than others, and they're not. They're just not. When it's a gift, it's a gift. When it feels really great, you know, I'm aligned with this. I'm behind it. It fires me up, whether it's making coffee or traveling to the rainforest and supporting indigenous people and owning their own, you know, water rights and whatever rights, oil, gas, lumber, yada, yada, yada. I mean, they're equally brilliant because whoever is engaged in it is engaged. And my habitual delineate everything into this hierarchy of one's better or worse is the tyranny, right? That's not required. So whether we like talking on the radio, and that's our favorite thing to do, and we do it with gusto, and we talk about the stuff we love to talk about, or, you know, whether I was president of the United States, it doesn't matter. If I really want to be president, and that was what I was up to, and that was great and wonderful and inspiring, then that would be great. If it's not, then what am I doing?
We have this practice of forgiveness that I too often fail to remember. That is a way for me to find some, it's not closure, but some momentum out of that energy, out of the habit of that energy where I am dug into something. I forgive myself for doing it, and I can forgive others. I'm sometimes more effective at it, and sometimes I'm less effective at it, but it allows me to move forward.
It's a kind of self-awareness. It's a really wonderful self-awareness without a firestorm. I mean, sometimes it takes a firestorm.
And sometimes the firestorm, there are big gifts in the firestorm. There's gifts of presence. There's gifts of the intensity. There's gifts of you become very aware of the vibrancy, of the power of life, and the complacency that I am very familiar with, sort of taking my life for granted in so many ways. When there was a firestorm a few years back that came right down to the road in front of my house, and I'm on the roof of my house with a hose, well, I don't wish for that, but I was certainly alive.
Yeah.
And I did not take life for granted. And it wasn't simply about, well, I might lose everything. That's a piece of it. But there's an aliveness. Well, I know we're run out of time, and before we go, is that like it looks like a pizza chef that I know. That's really fantastic.
I'm telling you,
it's
I
3
love
minutes or
when
0?
we get revealed for our own incompetence.
Yes, this is our own.
I was giving Barnett the signal. We have 3 minutes before the end of the show, and Barnett took it as cut off. Let's go home now.
Was that it?
3 minutes.
We have a dear friend of the show.
Oh, yes, good. Please do that.
Arjuna Ardaj, and his new novel, which is really a wonderful, wonderful spiritual tale called The Last Laugh. It's, there's not a lot of metaphysical literature around. And
well, this is a novel. It's brilliant. It's a story.
This is a story, and it's really, really, really terrific. So I want to urge our listeners, if they're readers, they might enjoy this. I'm even going to hold it up in front of our in-studio camera. The Last Laugh by Arjuna Ardaj. It is really, really good.
You know, that show, too, with him, if you've not seen it, The Awakened Dreamer, that we did with Arjuna is really spectacular.
It's a good show.
It's such a great
He's
show.
a lucid liver.
He's a lucid liver. That's
and a lucid
great.
Pancreas and a lucid spleen.
Liver.
All the organs are lucid with Arjuna.
That was a lucid stream of consciousness going from one liver to another liver. My kids do that all the time with words. They're into the
hypertext.
Right. Well, no, they're spelling tests, so they have the different words that have different spellings and have different meanings, and that's been the theme for the last month or so in Antonio's class. So our entire family is talking about the different theirs and all the ways.
Oh yeah, what do they call that? Homonyms?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know how I knew that.
Yeah, no, that was good. It's back in the back of my brain too, but that's very funny. So stream of consciousness. All right, well now we can say goodbye to our friends. We want to tell you that we of course are here every week, and we are grateful that you tune in. And we encourage you to share this with your friends. Join us on Facebook. Join our community at cuttingedgeconsciousness.com and become part of this community. We just send you the RSS feed so you can see when the shows are going up or what's going on. And we're really grateful to do this.
Go onto our website and sign up on our website. Don't we send them stuff?
Well, we do. We just send them. Well, we send them updates for the show.
Well, we
What's going on
send them
with the
other
show.
stuff too, right?
We can.
We can. So if you go on, we'll send you some stuff.
Barnett's gonna send
What can
you
we
an email.
send them?
I don't know. We'll work that out
We
off
should
air.
send them. We'll send you some stuff.
All right, good.
Trust us. Trust Freeman. We'll send you some stuff.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.